What if Halo, Underworld, and the outlaw Josie Wales, as well as Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing movie, had a baby? And then that quartet of lovers abandoned that baby, and that baby grew up to have a Playboy Spread. That blood-sucking, leather-wearing, gun-toting, spur-jingling love child would be DarkWatch. Hey there, I am the Archie Angel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you for your continued support. I will be playing the 2005's DarkWatch as a casual player. I'm going to try a little bit different style today and do a little bit more storytelling. This is a spoiler warning for DarkWatch.
Evil, as old as time, spreads like a plague, corrupting the hearts of men. For millennia, there have been those who have stood against it, a secret organization to protect mankind. They are the front line in an unholy war. They are the DarkWatch.
DarkWatch is a first-person shooter from 2005, developed by High Moon Studios. If that name rings a bell, well, they have developed a few titles that you've probably heard of, like the 2013 Deadpool game, Destiny 1 and 2, and every COD since 2014, since they were bought by Activision in 2008. DarkWatch was their first project into the video gaming world, though, wanting to bring something new to the sci-fi military theme, taking inspiration from Blade, Halo, Timesplitters, and Metal Slug. Both the PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions of the game were developed side by side. There were thoughts of a GameCube port, but the creative director didn't see any market for it there. Well, we all know how long the GameCube lasted, so that was some great foresight. High Moon was even able to get the license for the main theme of the good, the bad, and the ugly, remixing it to fit the darker feel of the game. DarkWatch was announced in early 2004 and slated to come out in late 2004. The game ended up getting put on ice shortly after, as High Moon was looking for a publisher, which they found in two global titans, Capcom for the US and Ubisoft for Australia and Europe. I feel like it would be a disservice to the game to forget about the huge marketing plan of getting your female protagonist a Playboy Spread, along with some fake interviews. I 100% remember seeing this under my mother's bed as a kid. After the opening cinematic, we're brought to the home screen, and good God, is this music just perfect. Listen. I'm a sucker for a cowboy movie, and the good, the bad, and the ugly theme shines through, and it is perfectly darkened and corrupted. Creating a new profile, we have a scrolling text telling us we are Jericho Cross, gunslinger, renegade, outlaw, with a long history of violence, and tonight our life ends, and our legend begins. We see Jericho, a rough-and desperado, preparing to board the train. He climbs aboard and enters the train with no issues. Now I just need to fight my way to the treasure car, blow the safe, and make off like the bandit I am. This first area is a tutorial area, forcing Jericho to jump, crouch, and move. HUD is simple enough. Top left health, top right ammo. Left stick moves, right stick aims. L3 crouch, R3 aim in, square to melee, triangle to jump, circle to reload, R1 to shoot, R2 to activate vampire powers, L1 for thrown items, and L2 to cycle through vampire powers. Left and right on the D-pad has this lean feature, which I found myself never using. Up on the D-pad is cycle through throwing weapons, and down on the D-pad cycles through the guns. You can hold 2 firearms at once. There are a total of 7 firearms in the entire game, as well as 2 different types of throwables. Through the tutorial, we see that something horrible has happened. There are dead bodies everywhere, and the train was heavily armed. Equipped with my trusty 6-shooter, I pressed on, coming upon this unsettling sight of a horse still half alive yet torn to bits. This little interaction made me jump. I was not prepared for the horse to move. I also love the amount of detail they put on how gruesomely these bodies have been dismembered. The horror aspect of the game is doing its job. The next car is a freezer car with hanging meat, but there is some meat that's still warm. Walking up to a skeletal creature with its face buried in this man's torso. It notices me and jumps up, wielding 2 sickles and its glowing eyes. It runs me down, hungry for a second meal. So my biggest complaint already, and will probably be the biggest one throughout the entire game, is the aiming. I'm not sure if it's because I'm emulating the game, or there is some just natural delay from the game, or if the game really does just have really odd dead zones. I ended up turning my sensitivity down to like 1 or 2, and this helped, but it was an ongoing problem. I really liked at the beginning of the game that the 6-shooter is the gun you have. The first encounter, I felt frantic as Jericho fingered rounds into his gun, and I'm thinking faster, faster, faster. This fiend from hell almost ripped me apart as I frantically tried to reload my revolver. I dispatched 2 more of these reapers, and a man badly injured stumbles into the car, telling me to take his pistol, then falls to the ground dead. I hastily pick up his sidearm, the Redeemer. This gun is some amazing engineering, having 18 rounds and a hammer that can be fanned, as well as a bladed hilt for close combat. All of the designs of the guns have this steampunk feel. Like I said in the beginning, it reminds me a lot of Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing movie. It's all very cool. I like all of the guns, although I try to stay away from the precision rifles, mostly just because that the aiming was such a problem. I reach the vault and prepare to blow it, when I am ambushed by a woman in black, but it's too late. The dynamite explodes. What have I done?
Sweet mercy, what have you done? Oh my god.
Lazarus is voiced by Keith Sazerbach, who worked on projects like Dead Space, Fallout New Vegas, Halo 4. Hell, he's the voice for Harbinger in Mass Effect 2, as well as being in movies and shows like Angel, Argo, and The Dark Knight. This hulking monster jumped the lady in black, so I opened fire, just for him to turn his ire towards me. When I wake up, I am lightheaded and thirsty. The lady in black tells me that I am becoming a vampire. She says I can feed on these blood clots to heal myself and sate my hunger. But I also feel more powerful. We chase the monster to the top of the train cars, but he is too powerful. We turn to run. The woman in black tells me her name is Cassidy Sharp. Cassidy is voiced by none other than Jennifer Hale. Yeah, check out Dark Alliance video if you want to hear more about her, but yeah, it's just... yeah. Cassidy names the monster as Lazarus, and he is on our asses. I think quickly and shoot some TNT separating the train cars. Cassidy leads me to a stable car asking if I can ride, but the hunger takes over. I leap upon the black stallion she was leading out, draining it dry. Cass tells me it's not my fault. It's all part of Lazarus's curse, but I feel bad for the creature. When it begins to stir, rising to undeath, my steed, my shadow. We leap upon our mounts, riding like the wind away from the vampire lord. Cass says there's a DarkWatch outpost not far, but the desert is full of unnamed corpses, and they begin to rise and pursue us. The riding guns section is actually done pretty well. At this point of the game, it's pretty obvious that it's an arcade shooter, so giving me the horse seems like an odd thing to do. You get some mobility, speeding up, slowing down, as well as being able to move side to side. Shadow is undead, so you can use him as a shield leaning from side to side. This is very cinematic, and it seems to flow decently. Wave after wave of undead riders fall until the gray-skinned bloodsucker who has somehow grown wings is caught up to us, shooting fireballs and dropping lightning in his wake before opening a dimensional door and fleeing. This fight reminds me a lot of like a House of Living Dead arcade games. Cass says that there's a secret passage under the old church, but a cemetery ain't no place you want to be when the dead walk the earth. The evil of Lazarus begins to summon long dead gunslingers from the nearby graves, and they are just as deadly as they were in life. After thinning out some of the ranks of the undead, a twisted yet living dead tree emerges from the ground. Cass explains that these are marks of evil, and because I am now have Lazarus's blood, I am able to destroy them. Everything in this game, when it comes to visuals, is really good at giving that grim, dark underbelly feeling, the nasty, dark fantasy, and I'm really loving it. I found some sticks of dynamite, so I make quick work of these pillars of evil. It explodes, sending a shockwave, wiping out any undead in the area. We are safe, for the moment. We open up the crypt, and Cass says it's too dark for her, but she will meet me on the other side. So I head down. I find many shriveled corpses not inside resting tombs. These must be DarkWatch members that were unable to make it back. I find a shotgun on one of these corpses, and I arm myself. What? Was that a woman? I press on. I need to get to the other side, and a cure. Deep inside the crypt, I find a large mausoleum, where I discover I can jump to new heights. With all the exits blocked, reapers begin to pour in. I fight, and fight through the fodder. When the ghostly women from earlier reappear with her sisters, they begin screaming so loud that it comes at me at bursts of power. These banshees are tough, but still no match for the vampire I am becoming. I find my way out of the crypt, right into another graveyard. The passage must be somewhere nearby. I stand my ground as more waves of monsters swarm me, until I have a moment of peace, and I catch a scent. The smell of innocent blood. This woman has been bitten by Lazarus as well. I feel the thirst welling inside of me, but I instinctually understand that I can save her soul. These small choices have no real impact on the story, they just decide which vampire abilities you get. There are also some trapped souls, or what they call, you can choose to free or consume. The light side gets silver bullets, fear, armor, and a lightning storm, while the dark side gets blood frenzy, turn, black shroud, and soul stealer. Light side being more defensive, and dark side being more offensive. I did light side for this playthrough. I purge her soul and find myself stronger, being equipped with silver bullets from time to time. More hordes come out, but I am the righteous hand of God, and they fall before me. Cass meets me in the nearby cave and begins to move the altar, hiding the exit. The cross! It burns!
The cross. The curse. It's taken hold. We've got to get you to the DarkWatch outpost.
The cross burns you because you are weak. You have been chosen. In time you will know why. Until then, you suffer.
Holy fuck. I just mean, that was that was unexpected. Oh, and he just throws her damn body down after me. Jesus Christ, this is dark. Sorry. Back to character. Cassidy's body is still warm, and Lazarus's voice is thundering in my skull, but I must resist. Lazarus mocks me. But I must find a way out of this mind and to the DarkWatch. The mine is grueling. The bodies of long-dead miners rise up to stop my forward motion, some carrying kegs of explosive, caring nothing for their lives of undeath. After fighting my way through, I find where I can open a closed mine. I just need to hit the switches to clear the rubble. But it only leads deeper into the mine. I'm tired. I'm thirsty. Water. Oh, some water.
Finished? Water won't help. Vampires drink blood. Remember? You want out of this pit? I can get you out. but I've still got a job to do. And you're gonna help me do it. Unless you just want to die down here. Come on, Jericho. We can do this.
She's right. We have a job to do. The exit to the cave leads to a snowy mountainside. The DarkWatch outpost isn't far now. But when I reach it, everyone's been torn to bits. Lazarus' evil has already made it here, and I am too late to save them. I don't know how I feel about Cassidy being a blue ghost with short cropped hair. Just feels eerily similar to another female voice I've had in my head before. I clear the Fort of Evil, avenging the fallen DarkWatch regulators. Cassidy is my new guardian angel and guides me to the fort's ghost store. This should lead us to the Citadel. This is not the Citadel.
Isn't the Citadel? What the hell is this place?
This is somewhere much worse. The DarkWatch appears to have some science facility inside this glacier. They have been breeding monsters. I get to the other side of the mountain, but the sun's coming up and my luck is running out. Cassidy says the fastest way to the Citadel is following the railroad tracks. Now, I just need to ride like hell. While following the tracks, I come upon a DarkWatch war train, but something's wrong. It's been hijacked by the undead. I blow it off the tracks to stop it from getting to the Citadel. I ride on through the day to make it to the Citadel by nightfall. I enter the cavern home of the DarkWatch, when everything just goes black. I awake to the smell of blood, steel, and rot. A man's voice saying my name.
Which matters, except for the last train you hit. That was one of my trains. You got a lot of my people killed. And you let loose the damn son of Satan himself. This here is the DarkWatch training maze. Normally we use it to break in agents. But for you, I have something special. Might be useful before you die.
Cartwright is voiced by Michael Bell, who has close to 400 voice credits. Most notably, in my opinion, he is Raziel in Soul Reaver 2. I get the feeling he does not like me very much. Armed only with this scepter, General Cartwell throws all sorts of monstrosities at me. Cassidy tells me that he will help me if I can prove myself. Feels more like the world's longest execution, though. One room, Cartwell lets undead gunslingers loose, and I am quick to arm myself. But he has also let innocents loose as well. This man is either mad, or this organization is not as good as Cassidy has led me to believe. Cartwell forces me into the sewers, where snake men assault me. These vipers are huge and fast, seeming to teleport. I am able to crawl from the sewers, adding the aroma of shit to my blood-soaked coat. I come out of the manhole into a mock town. Cartwell once again sends waves and waves of his undead captives at me. I rip through them. Cartwright comes out of hiding from his metal box to assault me with sunlight. He tells me he will give me everything I need to get my soul back. Guns, bullets, and the men. I just have to remember who's in charge. To reinforce this fact, he locks me in a death cage with one of these gluttonous oozers, and opens the roof to reveal the midday sun. I can feel myself weakening. I feel mortal. But Cartwright must have forgotten I was deadly before I was a bloodsucker.
Welcome to the DarkWatch, Jericho Cross. Make yourself useful, and I'll let you live. Get down to the armory, get yourself geared up. I've got a uniform waiting for you. And your new partner is eager to make your acquaintance.
Giddy up, cowboy. My name's Tala. Let's mount up.
I am now an official member of the DarkWatch, despite the General's efforts to make me re-dead. But it's not all bad. I look good in black, and my new partner, Tala, she has assets I could become accustomed to. The pursuit of Lazarus comes first, though, and we are following his wake of evil. I spend the next while clearing out a nearby settlement alongside the regulators, showing that I can be trusted. After wiping out the den of evil, I am given free reign of the Citadel. Though the eyes of the DarkWatch members linger at my back, I suppose they aren't used to having a vampire walk among them. The text says explore, but there's really only 3 rooms. Definitely feels like they had more planned here. The DarkWatch has a few missions ready for me. First, a convoy went out and never came back. I find the coyote that was sent to escort them shortly after walking through the ghost store. I fight my way to an old crumbling building tucked in a dead-end canyon. Here, the surviving regulators are holed up. We gun down the undead until we can be extracted. Next, I take a mission to find a wagon train that was transporting the Deadlight prison, a powerful artifact that allows vampires to keep their full strength in the sunlight. If the wagons have been hit, I know Lazarus is behind it. I cannot let him get his claws on it. The train was moving and hit in broad daylight. I must stay to the shadows to keep my blood shield and my full strength, while the undead can roam freely. I make it to the far side of the canyon and find the wagons. Everyone is already dead, but the prism is still here. I utilize its aura and hold off the remaining undead braves until the reinforcements can arrive. We return the prism to the Citadel and lock it away. This mission is actually a lot of fun. Even though it strips you of all the powers you've been given while in the sunlight, the challenge of pulling the undead to the shadowy area so I can rip them apart was a neat change of pace. Then, at the end, the prison just gives all of your powers back, and it's just fun. The last mission they have ready for me is to go protect a peaceful Indian tribe from their new arisen ancestors. All this loss of innocent life is my fault. I save as many as I can. After securing the innocents, I return to the Citadel to find out Hangtown has been corrupted by the curse. Tala wants to burn it all down, but that would just lead to more loss of innocent life. Once again, this place does not seem as good as I was led to believe, but I suppose evil sometimes must be fought with evil, right? Upon reaching Hangtown, the regulators are hauling off some civilians through ghost doors, and I watch as they execute undesirables. These men are getting out of control, but I have a job to do. I clear out the north side of town. The prison where the regulators are holed up is ambushed. Damn. The remaining DarkWatch and I rally at the hotel, but they are just men and are mostly wiped out. Only a few survive, and we make our final stand at the saloon. This is our Alamo. We are able to hold out until reinforcements come. I leave the men to secure the ground that we have taken, as Tala and I head to the church looking for survivors. But there are none. And Tala wants me to keep it quiet.
The church. Damn. Slaughtered. All of them. Right down to the choir boys. Cartwright ain't gonna like this. No one else needs to know what really happened here tonight. Understand? Let's keep this just between the two of us.
And somehow it is still all my fault in Cartwright's eyes. At least Tala is around to console me.
Take it easy, Cowboy. We're on the same side. Don't let Cartwright get you in a lather. He fears you. He should fear you. We're outlaws, Jericho. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of us even like it.
Whoa! YouTube demonetization! Haha! I sleep well for the first time and feels like a long time, just to be awoken abruptly.
Do you have any idea what you've done? This is her doing!
Oh no, the ghost doors have been opened and the watch is being overrun by the undead. Cassidy seems to think it's Tala, but she wouldn't do that, right? I make my way to the door room to seal the breach to find Tala executing regulators.
I played you, Jericho, and you gave me what I wanted. There might still be room for you in my plans, but for now...
I hop on the stationary gun and begin to unload into the gate. I need to close it before the entire place is overrun. After destroying the door, I need to help clear out the remaining undead, running wild through the halls. This section is actually really cool, able to see the Citadel, even though it's on fire now. I wish there had been more of an open world type exploration here, maybe grabbing the 3 filler quests from different people, or being able to hear the members gossip about missions and such. Something to give me a little bit more attachment to this area now that it's being ransacked. I fight my way through the corridors, now littered with dead regulators. As they fall, they rise again, against me. Lazarus has to be here somewhere. I can feel him. He has to be near the vault, trying to get to the prism. With it, he would be next to unstoppable. Damn, I was too late. He's absorbed the prism. What else can I do other than stand and fight? This is my fault. Either he dies or I do. I have to at least try. His skin seems to have thickened, my bullets doing little more than annoying him, but I have little choice. Our fight takes us to a bridge where I am finally able to drop the Vampire Lord, and I am left with a choice: break Lazarus's curse or take his place. I've come too far to let it all be for nothing. But before I can break the curse, Tala appears. But Tala appears out of a ghost gate and take the Vampire's Lord's power for herself. Cassidy and I take chase, finding ourselves in Lazarus's hideout, his laboratory. Tala asks me to join her, to rule the world together. I refuse. She's fooled me once, not again. Tala begins to sacrifice these innocent women, trying to finish Lazarus's ritual, to become truly immortal and throw the world into an age of darkness. But she has forgotten that I also feed off the blood of these mortals, and these women help keep me alive through the fight, until I put down the evil witch. With Tala dead, Cassidy's spirit can be free. With a farewell kiss, she takes her much-deserved rest, and I am cured of this curse. And with that, that's the end of the game. There is a dark ending where you can take Lazarus's power and you fight Cassidy instead of Tala, and that fight is exactly the same. And then at the end, you kill Tala as well, and ride off into a red moon instead of a blue. These last 2 fights were just so long. The life pools of the bosses, once again, just feels like that old arcade game where it's going to have you dumping quarters into it to continue. This game was a lot of fun. The aim was frustrating, but it was fast-paced and in my face enough with the action, it kept me engaged. The checkpoints were pretty often, so dying only set me back a few minutes. The enemies could have had a few more variation, but they were okay. The 3 filler missions in the middle were... only one of them mattered, and it's the one with the prism. And the rest just felt like filler. I can see what they wanted to do here, though it just kind of fell short. The pace was really fast, and there were some spots where things didn't quite line up, whether it's the cutscene has day and then it's night, or they tell me to do something but then it's another line. I was too engrossed in the fight, so I didn't mind as much. There's something about this style of game that just makes me wonder where gaming as a whole has wandered off to. I haven't really been able to place my finger on it, but playing these older games has been scratching that itch that I've been having for a while now. The game came out to generally good reviews, scoring high 7s to mid 8s, but fell short, grossing only around 320,000. There were talks of a sequel following not Jericho Cross, but the DarkWatch itself as an organization. Games would have taken place at different spots over time, like World War II, Ancient Rome, and the Crusades, but it was shelved. There were also talks about a movie at one point, which I personally think had a big inspiration on the 2011 film Priest, where, I mean, Carl Urban would have been a perfect Jericho Cross. This game is definitely as good as I remember it being, and if you can, it's worth a play. The game is only a few hours, but it's a fun little Western horror romp. I don't think it's worth the $30 to $40 you'd have to pay to get it on eBay, but you can emulate it. This is a game that I'm extremely surprised has not gotten an HD remaster or a re-release, with Capcom bringing back so many of their old titles. The IP really just needs to be remade. It deserves way more love than it got, even at its height. With that, guys, I appreciate all of you. This video was a lot of fun for me to make. If you kind of like what I did here, telling the story from that perspective of Jericho Cross, I had a lot of fun doing it. I haven't written anything in a long time, so doing this was just fun. This was a lot of fun. We're almost at that 1K subscribers, and like I told you guys, when we hit that, I will do the Red Dead Redemption 2 video. I feel like this was a great little step into that Western theme, kind of warming up to it. So I appreciate everybody for their support. If you guys want to help outside of YouTube, I do have a Patreon where you can, for $1 a month. I also have a G2A code where you guys can go and get discounted games. Both help the channel. At the end of the day, just you guys being here and watching is more than enough for me, and I appreciate everybody. With that, remember to always stretch those wings. They'll take you somewhere, someday. Catch you in the next one.